Tashdil everyone, I'm Sakina Bhatt and welcome to Tibet This Week, a weekly feature in English that tells you about this week's news on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Central Tibetan Administration. Let's look at the headlines first. His Holiness the Dalai Lama and leaders from Indian government graced Central Tibetan Administration's Thank You India event. Central Tibetan Administration organized 3-day Cultural Festival of Tibet at Indian International Center in Delhi. Representative Ngodub Dorji meets with Czech senators, MPs and TSGs. Late Tenzing Delek Rinpoche's niece speaks to Tibetan and Chinese in Australia. Tibetan resilience highlighted at Tibet Film Festival in Delhi. On Saturday last week, His Holiness the Dalai Lama graced the Thank You India event organized by the Central Tibetan Administration to mark 60 years since His Holiness's arrival in exile India. Over 4,000 people attended the event. The Indian leaders from the ruling BJP as well as Congress, including Cabinet Minister Dr. Mahesh Sharma, Minister of State for Culture and Tourism, graced the event. His Holiness felicitated Naren Chandra Das, the lone known survivor of the Assam Rifles personnel who received His Holiness the Dalai Lama when His Holiness stepped into Indian territory. His Holiness felicitated him at the function with Dharma Chakra. Addressing the Thank You India event, His Holiness said, "Under difficult circumstances, I have fled Tibet. It's been a time of mixed feelings of both sadness and happiness. At the time, we had no idea what would happen in next 40 to 50 years. But today we are commemorating 60 years in exile, so now we could see to a certain extent what would happen in the near future." His Holiness also said that India and Tibet shares a bond of teacher and disciple. The Tibetans call India the land of noble ones, and no other country is referred with such name by the Tibetans. So India is looked upon as land of reverence, respect and admiration, so there is a very strong bond between Tibet and India. Dr. Mahesh Sharma, a union minister from the Government of India, spoke about His Holiness the Dalai Lama's contribution to India and thanked him for spreading India's message of peace and non-violence throughout the world.
And thanks to Holiness Dalai Lama ji, with your blessings, the people of Tibet have really integrated with Indian culture and traditions in a way. Now it is something like a flower and fragrance.
He also said that India accepts Tibetan as an integral part of India and at the same time pray for the successful return of His Holiness and the Tibetans to their homeland. He said the Indian people are committed to serve the Tibet cause led by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Even our Prime Minister Narendra Modi remains concerned about the Tibetan people. Sri Ram Madhav, General Secretary of BJP, said the real thanks should go to His Holiness the Dalai Lama.
And I'm sure you will find your home very soon, welcoming you all. Until then, this is not your second home, this is your home.
The President of Central Tibetan Administration, Dr. Lobsang Singye, paid a rich tribute to His Holiness the Dalai Lama and expressed the Tibetan people's gratitude for his lifelong contribution for the Tibetan movement. Dr. Singye also thanked India for its consistent support on the issue of Tibet. The event garnered headlines across the globe in the last 3 days, attracting solidarity and support at the highest levels. The websites of the leading newspaper, Sunday Guardian, ran live pages with headline, "Tibetans thank India for supporting their cause." In just 3 days, reports of Thank You India have appeared in over 60 news websites. Major news websites in India gave the story top billing, quoting Culture Minister and BJP leader at the occasion. Central Tibetan Administration also organized a 3-day Cultural Festival of Tibet at India International Center in Delhi from 2nd to 4th April. The festival aspired to celebrate Tibetan culture and bring together all sides of Tibetan art, religion, cultural lifestyle, medicine, history, literature, film, and educational activities. Former Chief Minister of Delhi, Srimati Sheila Dikshit, graced the inaugural ceremony as the chief guest on the first day of the three-day cultural festival of Tibet. At the opening remarks, Srimati Sheila Dikshit said,
"We've had a relationship of 60 long years, which was started by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Now it is a relationship which has grown into brotherhood. We are brothers now, brothers and sisters together."
She further added that India is happy to have the Tibetans in India and thanked them for what they are. On the occasion, President Dr. Lobsang Singye said, "We are happy and overwhelmed by the presence of Sheila Dikshit at our culture festival. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude towards the people of India for accepting us with an open heart. The relationship between India and Tibet is of a teacher and a student. India has given us a chance to showcase our culture and tradition and who we are." The three-day festival featured exhibits and events and invited experts from all walks of life to present a thematic showcase of Tibetan culture. The event also included talks, panel discussions, and film screening by Tibettv of Central Tibetan Administration. A high-level panel discussion titled "India and Tibet, Ancient Ties and Current Bonds," featuring President Dr. Lobsang Singye, former Kalen Tripa Professor Samdong Rinpoche, Dr. Kapila Vatsyayan, and Mrs. Madhuri Sondi, dwelled on the past ancient ties the two civilizations shared and ways to strengthen the current bonds for a stronger future. Representative Ngodup Dorji of Office of Tibet in Geneva met with members of parliament, senators of the Czech Republic and Tibet support last week in Prague. The meeting with several members of parliament and senators from various parties primarily focused on updating the current political situation of Tibet with issue of state interference in religious freedom, restriction in Tibetan culture and language, monitoring and surveillance, case of Larungkhar, and self-immolation protest against Chinese repressive policies. Nima Lamu, niece of late Tenzing Delek Rinpoche, completed a 2-week advocacy tour in Australia. Tenzing Delek Rinpoche died under mysterious circumstances in July 2015 in Chinese prison. During the 10-day advocacy, speaking at the University of Technology in Sydney, Nima recounted the detailed account of situation before and after the death of Tenzing Delek Rinpoche and the ongoing repressive situation in Tibet. While demanding the return of the dead body of Tenzing Delek Rinpoche, Nima and her mother were detained for 18 days in Chengdu on charges of leaking state secrets to the outside world and were made to sign a document containing various conditions for their release. Nima Lamu appeared before the Human Rights Subcommittee of the Australian Parliament on 28 March. Honourable Kevin Andrews, member of the Liberal Party and former Australian Minister for Social Services and Defence, chaired the hearing. The second day of the Cultural Festival of Tibet at Indian International Centre in Delhi unveiled the first edition of Tibet Film Festival hosted by the Central Tibetan Administration. The day-long film carnival celebrated the spirit, resilience and the success story of the Tibetan people and its leadership. A total of 5 documentaries including City A, Leading Tibet Home, A Place in the Sun, Chela's Gift to His Guru, India's Road Builders, Series 2, Kullu Manali, and A Tibetan Odyssey were premiered for the first time at the national capital. The documentaries are produced by Tibettv and directed by professionals of Tibettv and individual filmmakers. So much for this week. See you next time and have a great weekend.